This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Who is America has just hit our TV screens, igniting the public consciousness with its controversial statements on the current political landscape of America. However, this isn't new for Sacha Baron Cohen. This bloke has been pulling this shit since the late 90s, and through his film and television repertoire has defined brand new ways of telling stories, making us laugh and revealing the true ugliness of our world. Sacha Baron Cohen is an auteur in a new genre in comedy, and I believe that makes him a genius. But you're probably asking yourself how a man mostly known for gratuitous stick jokes and adopting stereotypical offensive characters can be considered a comedic genius. Well, to begin my argument, I have to start by talking about new wave Iranian cinema. In the country of Iran, it's illegal to make a film which criticizes the Iranian government, but this hasn't stopped Iranian filmmakers from doing exactly that. In order to achieve this, they have to implement a great deal of techniques that allow these films to be made without the knowledge of the government. Oftentimes these films are improvised and filmed under the guise of a documentary. They use non-actors playing themselves and will base the narrative on real-life events. As well as this, they will film entirely on location with real people interacting with fictional characters. This leads to a mix of planned scripted scenes and unplanned semi-documentary sequences. The Iranian film, Offside, is set during the World Cup qualifying game between Borat and Iran. In Iran, women are not allowed to go to football matches, and the film explores the themes of patriotism and women's rights. What makes this piece special is that a majority of the film was shot during the real match, with real interactions with fans at the game. Jafar Panahi didn't have an ending for the film, and allowed the result of the game to indicate the end of the narrative. I've decided to call this type of filmmaking pseudo-realism, as these fiction and documentary elements mix together seamlessly, making it difficult to distinguish real responses to the performed ones. This type of filmmaking is very rare among Western filmmakers, but if you're familiar with Sacha Baron Cohen's work, you can probably already see the parallels. But before I get into that, it's worth talking about character comedy in the UK. During the 90s, stand-up comedy was very standardized, with comedians projecting likeable, relatable personalities with typical punchlines. Character comedy allowed audiences to see the perspective of flawed and varied characters that would not be typically seen on stage. One of the leading figures in character comedy at the time was Steve Coogan, who gained notoriety through the character of Alan Partridge.
Hello, I'm Alan Partridge, and this is Sports Desk.
Using this character, he constructed a fake TV talk show called Knowing Me, Knowing You. The show was entirely scripted and was made of actors who would be badly interviewed by Coogan.
Surely the best way to deal with hooligans is to hang them by the neck until the spinal column is severed, thus starving the body of oxygen. Isn't that the best, most sensible way to deal with them?
This cringe comedy resonated with audiences and was a huge hit. A few years later, Sacha Baron Cohen infused Coogan's character comedy with rudimentary pseudo-realistic elements from Iranian cinema to create The Ali G Show, a talk show hosted by the ignorant, uneducated weed enthusiast Ali G. But unlike Knowing Me, Knowing You, everyone being interviewed was a real person.
We have an animal here in the studio. Should we get it out? What the fuck is that? What is that?
It's a hedgehog.
By taking away scripted responses and performed awkwardness, and instead relying on real human interactions, the uncomfortable nature of the cringe comedy is accelerated. The exaggerated character of Ali G is strengthened when we see him next to genuine people who sincerely believe him to be real. To call The Ali G Show a prank show would be inaccurate, as a prank show revolves around one inevitable bombastic occurrence which we all know will happen at the victimization of one or more people. In contrast to that, on The Ali G Show, Sacha Baron Cohen will work off the interviewee and develop jokes and punchlines along with them, whilst maintaining the guise of a genuine interview.
But he said that he has taken 22 E's in one night.
Did he have a headache? Did he feel...
Well, he said he was like, you know, he found it difficult to get to sleep. Yeah. But the next day he was really buzzing, and actually the people on the Egham to Ruislip bus said that he drove it better than he ever done it.
Sacha Baron Cohen is able to spontaneously improvise dialogue which is just as hilarious and clever as most scripted comedies. Not only this, but his questions and responses to the answers are purely dictated by his character motivations and given circumstances, giving us an insight into who Ali G is and his world outside the show. However, this isn't the creme de la creme of Sacha Baron Cohen's work. The Ali G show was just the starting point for him. From here he was able to develop his skills and make something more ambitious. Borat is a fully pseudo-realistic film with an entire 3-act structure, which is founded on its real-world setting and a narrative that's defined through genuine human interaction.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Mind Your Own Fucking Business.
Borat is a masterwork in production. It's truly impressive when diving into the background of the film to see how little is scripted or planned out. It goes from hilarious interviews and stunts to scenes with actors progressing the story and character of Borat. But it's when the film manages to do both at the same time that it truly becomes exceptional. There's a scene where 3 frat boys in an RV pick up the hitchhiking Borat. They reveal Pamela Anderson's sex tape to Borat, who is deeply infatuated with her at the time. This affects Borat as a character and is essential to the narrative of the film.
Guarantee that shit's gonna happen. Don't worry about it.
That's her, Borat.
Borat, that's her. She's not her.
Outside of the film's narrative, these are 3 genuine frat boys who believe they're in a documentary and believe Borat is a real character. They didn't really own the RV or pick him up hitchhiking, but the conversation with Borat is genuine. As well as being profoundly amusing and ambitious with its production, Borat fantastically explores the theme of social structure and insincerity in the Western world, as everyone Borat meets is trying to teach him how to behave and change the way he acts around people. Borat in juxtaposition is agonizingly honest in a world which values fake politeness above all else.
I'm very excited.
Yes, it's an
Hello, USA.
Yes.
Hello, USA. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be here. Hello.
hello to you as well.
Borat genuinely likes and wants to connect with the people he meets, no matter what race, class, or background that person is. The tragic element of this is that nobody likes Borat, but instead pretends to. This look into the merging of different cultures and social etiquette couldn't be explored with the same degree of effectiveness, nor have such an impact if it was a conventional narrative film. The implementation of pseudo-realism allows for these ideas to be explored in the most real way possible. Astonishingly, Sacha Baron Cohen managed to top Borat with Bruno. With Borat, there are aspects which are staged and the line between what's fake and what's real is hard to distinguish. However, with Bruno, every interaction with the public is real, aside from this. Each sequence has a beginning, middle, and end. They all have a strong comedic presence and narratively continue from the previous sequence. There's a scene with Bruno and his agent. The first act is the two getting to know each other. Bruno wants to be a Hollywood actor, and the agent believes he can get him roles. The second act introduces conflict. Bruno is clearly a bad actor and won't listen to the agent's direction. The third act ends the scene and progresses the narrative further.
I want to be a star in a huge Hollywood movie. Can you make that happen?
No.
Sacha Baron Cohen makes this look easy, but there are so many bland comedies being shat out constantly that fail to do this. Bruno as a character might initially come across as an offensive caricature, but over time he develops into someone who's deeply layered. Cohen never sacrifices the larger-than-life aspects which makes him stand out as a comedic character, but uses them to create an image of a deeply insecure, fame-obsessed young man. Once again, Sacha Baron Cohen is able to expertly explore the deeper themes and ideas that come with his character, such as celebrity culture, superficiality, and how homosexuality makes people uncomfortable. At this point, Sacha Baron Cohen has mastered the style of performance needed to convince people that he is playing a genuine person. He gives each character a unique physicality and vocal rhythm that brings them to life. It doesn't take long for the audience to become immersed in his characters, forgetting that they're characters entirely.
So you were never gay? It's ironic that you should have amazing blowjob lips.
Bruno, Borat, and Ali G all possess qualities that make them vulnerable. Whether that's a lack of intelligence, ability to communicate, or self-awareness, these give the people around them an ugliness. The judgment and superiority they feel over Cohen's characters reveal their hidden intentions and beliefs. Although these characters are socially weak, the stereotypes Cohen is building on become empowered, as the people Cohen interacts with are constantly revealed as being more grotesque than the characters themselves. His characters are never victimized for being who they are. Typically, it's uncommon for the cinematic world to frame comedies as important pieces of work, with the people behind them rarely receiving artistic credit. However, if you look at Bruno and Borat objectively, there are very few films which are able to explore this many ideas in such a unique way. Sacha Baron Cohen's work has been able to pave the way for even more creators to develop this style, such as Nathan For You and Nirvana the band The Show, and we even see pseudo-realism being introduced to genres other than comedy, like in Under the Skin. This style that combines character comedy, social experiments, pranks, and journalism into something wholly special and original was founded by Sacha Baron Cohen. It's great to see Nathan Fielder from Nathan For You working with Cohen on his new show, Who is America? A show that gives us surreal character comedy but also genuine political journalism. It highlights the political turmoil of America in a palpably honest way, whilst also never being sincere.
You started so many wars, Afghanistan, Iraq 1 and Iraq 2. Which was your favorite war and why?
Even though his actual scripted films are for sure a bit shit and lacking in the same level of complex filmmaking, it doesn't change his importance. At its core, genius is defined through innovation. And when you look at Sacha Baron Cohen's filmography, innovation is what stands out the most. From adapting and popularizing a genre that at the time wasn't present in Western culture, to producing some of the most politically nuanced films masked as crude comedies which never compromise despite their difficulty to produce. He repeatedly proves to be incomparable in this creative space, and I am thrilled that he continues to innovate and push the boundaries of film and television today. But what do you think about Sacha Baron Cohen? Let me know down below, and make sure to like and subscribe for more NitPix content just like this, and check out my Twitter to find out what this mysterious image is. And if this video was something you enjoyed, then you have Squarespace to thank, since they have brought it to you. Oi you! Yeah, you! You're the one I'm talking to. Why don't you have a gosh darn website yet? Is it because you're too busy watching Cupcake and Dino on Netflix? Well, now there's a website you can use to make a website whilst watching Cupcake and Dino. Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform which offers easy to use and customizable templates, allowing you to construct the website that's perfectly suited to you. You don't even gotta install, patch or upgrade anything ever, and with that award-winning 24/7 customer service, you know you're in safe hands, bro. So, don't be a square, head over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/nitpix to save 10% off your first purchase. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you later. Bye.